I think that counseling is very important. The book of Proverbs 24 says, with all, every purpose is established by counsel. What that means is, whatever you want to do, it's not enough to know what you want to do. It is very important to equally know how you should do it. And that how to go about it is where counseling comes in, and the quality of your counsel also determines the quality of the counsel that you receive. For people who just want to get married, it's not enough to, especially church folks, it's not enough to just say, well, I prayed and God is leading me to this person, or my pastor told me to marry that person. There are still many other things that you need to look out for. And a well-designed counseling curriculum would help to shove off a whole lot of baggages that people carry into their marriage. If we have a counseling session that can bring out the physiological, psychological, and the need of people that want to go into marriage, and critically analyze this with the Bible, we will make a fantastic marriage. You see, one of the mistakes I find people making is that they think that marriage is spiritual. It's everything about, God just said, and regardless of whatever it is, we're going to shoulder through. No, it's not true. The truth instead is that God has given us, through His Word, what we can do. He has said that a believer can marry a believer. But there are other things you need to check out for. And when I call the physiology, is, are we medically compatible? Should we marry based on what we have discovered as health issues? Now, the two of you may not have health issues, but you transfer that health issues to your children. Is it worth it to get married? And so counseling, a very good counseling, should be able to bring people to face reality regardless of their emotions. And so I firmly believe that before anyone, in fact, before people really nosedive into relationship, they need a counselor to talk to them and talk with them and bring out some of the key points or red flag that they need to see before they go in. The first thing I think anyone in a relationship should do is receive counsel before, during, and after. Now, before is before you even go to say, look, I want to get married to you, or I want to have a serious relationship. Of course, you can have friends that you're not thinking of getting married to. But when it's tending towards a relationship and you know that's what you want, and of course, for a believer, the ultimate goal is to get married. It's not just to have, someone at the side. You need to do what I call a pre-analysis. Pre-analysis check include the family background. Now think about those days when our parents get married. Essentially all they do, they don't even, most of them they are traditional. And when the missionaries came in and the gospel began to come in, they were not that yet serious believers, as it were, but they are traditional in their thinking. And some of the steps they would take those days will be, they want to know the family that their son or daughter want to marry into. They want to know how they relate with people within that community, if they have good name. They want to know, number 3, what is their health status? Do they have a generational sickness or disease or issues that may not appear in 2 or 3 generations, but comes in maybe the 3rd or 4th generation? They want to know how the father treats the mother and how the mother treats the father within their family setup. They want to know how men view women and how women view men. So what they do is to check out for wise people in their clan and they sent them over to the village where the person is coming from, haven't satisfied all these prerequisites, then they can agree for their daughter or son to get married into their family. Today we don't do that. We kind of feel it's archaic. We kind of feel we have more knowledge and experience. And look at our marriages, they are failing compared to our parents' marriage. So these prerequisites are very important. Before you open your mouth to say, I want to marry you, or I want to go into a relationship with you, and as a believer, you know that the end game is that you want to get married to that person, you've got to check the physiology. These are some of the things to check, because they are things that will ultimately help you to get to the place where you say, look, I want to get married to you. So it's simple. What's your genotype? What's your blood group? It's very simple. I mean, it's not rude. It's not something it's out of, I mean, it could be from a casual conversational, conversation. What's your genotype? Mine is AA. Yours is, fine. Do you have, sickle cell is on one hand. The other hand is there hepatitis? Hepatitis B or, A? Is there any issue? Is there something I need to know? Do you understand? There should not be gray areas or surprises. I remember before I got married to my wife, I went to a lab. I told them, do all kinds of tests you can do with this pint of blood. And so I sat down, kind of drew some blood for me, and they do all kinds of tests, from HIV to hepatitis to liver problem, everything, just do. And so they did that. And one evening I was going to pick her up. I hadn't even told her I want to get married, so I haven't proposed any relationship at all. So I kept deliberately. I know she was going to sit on that seat, so I kept it there. She goes, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I just went to do a test. I just needed to check up myself." Oh, she said, "Can I look at it?" I said, "Sure. I mean, look at it. I just wanted to get that to happen." And she kind of looked, "Oh, yeah, you're this, you're that, you're this." And I said, "Oh, yeah, good." And of course, one day she also fell ill. I said, "Well, why don't you just do all the tests? Why don't you just check yourself, which is good for you?" And she did all the tests, and I checked her, so I felt, okay, fine. This is compatible, we're okay. And that kind of gave me a lot of comfort and courage to say, well, this is a direction I want to go in fully. If there are issues, also other traditional issues that had been in the past is also hepatitis, where people have had issues. They will say, oh, in that family they used to die young, they die at 40, they die at 45. All of these things are just health issues that could have been avoided, but people didn't think they were worth it. I remember children that they call Abiku in southwest Nigeria. They'll be born, and after maybe a year or 2 or 3, most times they don't really survive because we don't have advanced medicine as we do right now, those days. And you see a child that will be born within sometimes a week, sometimes in a year, the child, dies, and the parent will have to go through a whole lot of stuff and bury them. And, going through the motion, at a point, other traditional concepts began to come in, like tribal marks. They used to give these children tribal mark so that they can distinguish between them. Say, oh, this was the one that died. Yeah, I mean, the herbalist or the traditional native doctor will say, look, you have to give them tribal marks so that next time the child will not be reincarnated or come back. With a good counselors that have experience, they would have been able to help you map out all the things that you need to know. Now, one serious area of compatibility that you need in marriage is your health status. Are all the issues surrounding your health, are they okay physiologically? Second area is psychology, which means, do you see things the same way? Or at least, do you have the same vision, the same drive or passion? Or are you both traveling the same direction? Now, one mistake that people make when it comes to compatibility is what we call surrender. Now, that surrender is, I'm not yet married to you, but I have a strong desire and vision, and I call it childhood dream, to become something else. And I meet this guy that I really love, and he also have the same passion, is going this way. And I just think about it and I surrender. Not because we're traveling the same direction. Along the line, in the journey of life, I find myself looking out through the window and wishing that I had followed my dream. It brings frustration into the marriage. It brings issues into the marriage. So compatibility plays a very key role in getting married. And a good counselor and good counseling, you see, the truth is, people do what they hear. The mind processes only the information that is given to it. And the quality of the information will determine the quality of the decision. So good counseling will help you see the need for compatibility, the need for vision alignment, health alignment, passion alignment, family alignment, business or work alignment, including church alignment. All these things play a key role in getting married. For example, when I talk to people or counsel people before they get married or they're planning to get married, I tell them, where are you going to? I do what I call, I call it just talk to me. And I ask them, where are you going to? What's your drive? I see them independently. What's your passion? Where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years? Outside the marriage counseling, outside the relationship counseling. That way I kind of do a kind of profiling on, this is where you're going as a lady, this is where you're going as a guy. And when they come together, I tell them, look, you guys are not fit together because she really wants to go here and you really want to go there. And most times what I see people come after is, after a week or a month, say, oh well, we just discovered we are going in the same direction. But again, in the marriage, they find out 5-10 years down the line, it seems the lady has given up a dream for the guy, or the guy has given up his dream for the lady. One of them finds frustration. It's easier, cheaper, better, and less stressful when you're going the same direction. But that's why advancements in the knowledge and counseling today override that days of ignorance. That now people can then begin to really check their health issues. Do a comprehensive health checkup. Traditionally in Africa, especially Southwest Nigeria, if a family does not have a child, they label it as the woman that have issues. But lately, because of medicine, we also know that it's not, sometimes the woman is okay and the man is the one with issues. And they go through a whole lot of emotion. A whole lot of families in the past have had to go through so many negative experiences. It's one of the factors that have been responsible for polygamous marriage, especially with our forefathers. Because again, then the parents or the family of the man now comes in and says, look, this woman, she's possessed, or she has an issue, or there's a problem with their family. Oh, we made a mistake with their generation, and so on and so forth. We can give you another wife. And guess what? The other wife happened to be AA. So they got married 10 years after he got married to the first wife. And bam, first one AA, second one AS. No issue, no health issue with those children. But they don't check all the compatibility issues until almost recently. But again, you see how something as small as health or blood compatibility, which we call the genotype, has resulted into a giant and unthinkable issues. Of course, Then eventually the first wife will have one or two children that are now maybe ASAA, and they are younger than the children of the second wife. They grow up in a family where the two wives, they don't see eye to eye. The man does not know how to balance his time between the two wives. There's a lot of issues. The children too are having a lot of issues. They have a lot of problems. They become wayward. They have gangs. They also get out of the house at 15. The first girl is also pregnant for someone else. At 17, the first guy is also getting other ladies pregnant because they have an absentee father. And of course, the family is heated. They can't sit down eye to eye and sit and eat and all that. So it's like a snowball dropping from the top of a mountain on an avalanche. And by the time you hit the bottom of the mountain, it spreads across and it becomes a big issue. As a matter of fact, I'm dealing with one at the moment where this guy found out that he's the same genotype with the lady he's in love with. And the truth is, it's become really very difficult for them to stay away. My advice is really, you've got to really think through this. Is it worth it? In the end, people we're going to pray about it. I mean, there are so many people who also have prayed about this. And the chances is usually maybe 1 out of 10 or 2 out of 10. It requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of care and all that, especially for those who are already in that marriage. But the truth is, it is really not worth it. I have seen people close to me. I pastored a woman that had 7 children, 5 out of them were sickle cell, and one after the other, all 5 died. One after the other. The last one that really broke her and turned her mental was her last son, the 5th, who just went to camp, and the second day on NYC camp died. Upon receiving that news, she just lost it mentally. And you see, the interval between when they died is about 3 to 5 years each. So every 3 to 5 years, she mourned. And she just woke up one morning and just left this town for a place we don't know until recently we just heard she's somewhere. Left her family, left her husband, left the 2 children. Nobody knows where she went to. It can be devastating. Also, watching that young life having to go through a lot of pains, at least maybe once or twice in a year. And you could have avoided it. But because you're in love and you just cannot do without that person. Right now you're in the marriage and you find, I have people, this same family, if they are broke, they would be at least 300,000 or 1 million naira broke because they don't know when any crisis will strike one of their children. Sometimes it could be 2 at the same time in the hospital. One on this place, on the other side. I go there, pray with them and, pray for them. I don't think in the long run it is worth it. I think that there are many wonderful, beautiful, diligent, disciplined, fine Christians that are compatible with your genotype that you can get married to. Again, if it's not just for you and the person you want to get married to, think about the children that will come out of that relationship. You don't determine it. Someone told me lately, advanced medicine can help you do, gene selection and all that, but I don't think we have that one yet in Nigeria. So I want to encourage you to not take that step. Rethink the process through. It is painful, I know, to leave the person you've been with maybe 5 years only to discover you are not compatible, because of your health. But if you're already in that marriage, I just pray that God is going to, grant you healing and health and soundness and help you go through it. Someone said that your decision may be private to you, but the consequences of your decisions are not private to you. Everybody is going to be part of that. Your son or your daughter grow up in a family that is not balanced, and it becomes an issue to someone else. They become a problem to the society or the community or the city or the nation at large. If we're humble enough, we'll find out that none of us really are without a weakness. And the truth is, that helps us to relate with people with compassion. People that are born with sickle cell in their body, I think we need to be around them. We need to help them. We need to love them. We need to pray with them. We need to encourage them. They are not contagious. It's not a contagious disease or sickness. No, it's a genotype. And it's not their making. If someone is healed or sick, we don't go criticizing them. And the same with someone with sickle cell. I think we need to, people live longer when they have love and their loved ones around them. And people will believe in them, people will support them genuinely. I think we need to support love upon them genuinely. I think we need to pray for them. I've also experienced miracles where people with, SS became a different genotype altogether and they were healed completely. You see, that also happens, and it can happen to anybody. I think we need to love them. I think we need to pray for them. I think we need to care for them. In my 200 level in school, I had a friend, very close friend. He was SS. And that was my first closest experience of people with sickle cell. And I found out that each time he's troubled about something and is not happy or is overworked, he breaks down. And the more we're around him as a fellowship and group of people, laugh about things, play around, the student life, go for concerts and worship meetings and all that. For a whole semester or session, no issue. First year, second year, third year, fourth year, maybe once in a year or something. And sometimes he would even come share testimony and say, well, I feel healed, I feel strong and healthy and all that. And we share the same room, share the same bed space and nothing. So I don't think you should, in any case, stigmatize anyone with sickle cell. They don't have a disease. They don't have an infection. They just have a genotype that is not compatible like yours. Well, my name is Kola, and I'm an IT and management consultant, also a pastor of New Covenant Church in the city of Jos.